Hi, this is Ross Harrison from Precision Health and Fitness. And today I'm going to share a little bit of my story, particularly how I got into what I do, why I'm passionate about helping transform people's lives, and how I came up with my health first approach to fitness. So, for me, life started out a little differently than a lot of people. And when I was 7, I ended up getting a disease that ate away some of my hip and essentially left me with a fused hip after a number of operations and whatnot. Um, and at that point, I was told I probably wouldn't walk again, although if I worked really hard at my rehab, there was a chance. And it took a good year and a half from start to finish, but I was able to walk again, and I learned a lot in that process. And it didn't stop there. Like, I had to continue rehab, and I had to go back every 3 to 6 months or whatever and get tested to make sure that my spine was developing correctly because of my leg differences. Um, so all that taught me a lot about just how the body progresses, things that I normally wouldn't have had to think about how to walk with different leg lengths and things like that, and just the importance of having a solid neutral spine. So as I got older, I was still into. I mean, I couldn't do everything. I couldn't play a number of sports. I did some, and just worked with my body how it was. And so as I got older, I got more into fitness, and then eventually knew I wanted to train people. Um, and a lot of what I learned growing up helped me realize that I was capable of doing more than I originally thought, or more than I was told I could. And so that was really the heart of what I came up with as far as why I wanted to help people. I know there's a lot of people who told they couldn't do A or B or C or whatever, and they just sort of feel like they can't do anymore. And I always felt like more was possible, and I know it was for me. And after working with clients for over 20 years, I obviously know that it is for them also. Um, then but I also realized there was a lot of great stuff in the fitness industry, but there's also a lot of stuff that to me feels a little short-sighted. And so the longer I was in my career, I ended up working more with like former athletes who the only way they knew to train was how they trained for their sport, and their training was making their body fall apart essentially. Um, so I had to teach a new way of training, a way of training that made their body stronger, like from a whole, like made their joints stronger, not just the muscles, but made everything work together better, correcting deficiencies and imbalances, and just seeing the drastic results that had on people's both decreases in pain, increases in function, um, teaching people about how their bodies, how they're supposed to feel, how they're supposed to move, and across the board, from younger people to people in their 60s and 70s, everybody could improve. Like, that's what I saw across the board, is when people learned how their body was supposed to move, they did things I didn't think was possible, to the point where I don't even want to know a person's age anymore almost. I've seen some people in their 60s and 70s do things that a lot of 20 and 30-year-olds can't do, just because they have a higher level of body awareness after going through their training. So that's where the health first approach to fitness came from. Is I want people to be healthy throughout their lives. Like, it's simple. It's a simple concept. It seems like it should be, to me. It seems like it should be like a foundational element in fitness altogether, but it's not. And we're so focused on short term gratification and losing a little weight or gaining some strength or hitting a new personal record. Um, but a lot of times we don't really consider what does that do to our long-term outlook. Is hitting a max bench press when you're 30 worth having shoulders that don't work when you're 60? For some people it is, and if they want to train that way, there's a bunch of people who can train you that way. I think that you know consistent quality of life throughout your life is more important, and that's how I train people. So that's the short version of sort of my path. I mean, and as far as myself, Not just regaining the ability to walk when I was younger, but following that through to now. I'm 45. I've had a hip replacement for almost 15 years, and a little under 3 years ago, I started doing martial arts for the first time in my life. Something I always thought I couldn't do, but I had trained well enough and strengthened my hip replacement enough to where not only do I enjoy it and it's great, it's actually made me even better. It's increased my range of motion, helped some of my shoulder issues. Granted, some of that is because I'm also training alongside with what I'm doing in that to make sure my body stays functional. But again, that's something I never thought I could do. And there's other things. There's been a lot of things that, not just me, my clients also, where sort of like returning to things that they used to do they thought they couldn't do anymore, or sometimes it would be like a runner who their knees got hurt from running, and then just learning how to redo their training, and now they can run again. Again, they're not necessarily going to compete or get personal records, but they can just enjoy it and their body feels better. So that's essentially the heart of my training, and that's what I share with all my clients.